Alright guys, so an F2 Sabre and a Valtour got really drunk one night, had a great time, woke up the next morning and regretted a few things. 9 months later, something happened. Meet the offspring. So today we're going to talk about the F-86K Sabre Dog. Honestly, you might as well just call it the F-86D because functionally and visually it is the same plane. The F-86K was just the export version of the F-86D. Whereas the F-86A and the F-86F that we're already used to seeing in War Thunder are actually fighter versions of the Sabre. This is the F-86D, which is the all-weather interceptor. So this one comes with a radar, and thanks to Gaijin it doesn't work. But we'll not really bother with that because hopefully at some point that will come back. Alright, so let's talk about the stat card. Stat card says 1110 is your top speed, and it actually is pretty damn close. I was able to hit 1109. This is not a very fast aircraft, guys. This is not a supersonic. This is otherwise called a transonic aircraft. I'll tell you what, you can go straight down in this plane. You will not hit the red line. You will not hit Mach unless you started from a very high altitude, and I've only done it once. So you really need to take that into account because this is a 9.0 aircraft. So the F-86Fs and the Hunters, the Hunter F1, pretty much everything can do your top speed or better. So you really got to keep your head on a swivel because there will be plenty of aircraft behind you. So we're making our approach on this F100 now. He's finally dead, and I did not see the other F100 coming at me. I am now crit. This is going to make for a very difficult fight, but we're going to manage. The other thing that you really need to be careful of and pay attention to with this aircraft is it actually has a absolutely poor turn rate. I'm going to warn you right now, especially when you first start this aircraft, when you first start researching it, it has, let's just say, at high speeds a Valtour can outturn you. A Valtour, guys. It can outturn you at high speeds. Yes, I'm not even joking. But once you get through it and you get the boosters, that'll definitely help. The other thing I'll recommend right off the bat is upgrade the guns because for some reason these guns do not do crap. They actually have a practice shell in the loadout. There's 2 HEF shells and 1 practice shell, and then there's an armor piercing shell. It does not do crap. So as soon as you guys can do it, get the belts, and then like I say, get the boosters as soon as you can. The rest you can deal with. But as you can see right now, I'm crit, I'm having troubles. This guy is already air braking me. You can see his little air brake sticking down on the bottom of the plane, so it's going to be a hard time reversing him. I dink my air brake out. And suddenly the tides change. Of course, my wing is crit, so this really is not an ideal situation, but the other thing that this aircraft is really good at is it actually has a very good energy retention. That's purely because it doesn't turn very well. And so you actually have the climb rate and the energy retention of a supersonic. But you're not supersonic. Strange how that works, guys. I really think this aircraft should have come out ages ago. This aircraft really should have come out before the supersonic patch. Regardless though, guys, you know, the turn rate might be poor, but this thing still rolls just like the regular Sabres we're used to. So that excellent roll rate actually makes it a very good aircraft for defensive flying. So this is a real good counter for supersonics. It actually has the capability of fighting them pretty damn well, whereas other 9.0 aircraft actually have issues, especially when it comes to energy retention. So keep that in mind, guys. At this point, there's no supersonics left in this game, so it's just 9.0s, and you know, this poor turn rate actually makes it difficult to fight 9.0s, even though it has a greater energy retention and a far better climb rate. But thankfully these guys are really not paying attention, so first one, he's crit. This other guy's going vertical. They are totally glued to this guy, not paying attention. And he is now dead. And the other guy is going to die shortly hereafter. One plane left. It's a Hunter. It might be an F6, I don't remember. But either way, this guy doesn't last very much longer. So this is the end of that game. That was a fairly easy ace. Granted, I took a little bit of damage. I'm pretty lucky to have flown away from it. But generally, though, this is pretty much what your average game is going to look like. You're going to have 1 or 2 supersonics that you're going to have to deal with towards the end of the match. That, like I say, your roll rate is your best defense. So remember how I told you guys this was a 9.0. So you will actually get down tiers, and I'll tell you what, I got way too many down tier matches today. And this aircraft really shouldn't be facing 8.0s. I just took off. I'm gonna go straight up into a TU-4. We're gonna delete him. I mean, this guy doesn't stand a chance, period. Not even close. He's on fire. He's going down. Remember, guys, I just spawned. I just spawned. So, he's going down. We're going to go ahead and descend back into the pack where I know the rest of the team is still climbing. Probably barely doing any speed right now. And probably doing no better than about 2,000 meters if they've even tried climbing yet. So as we descend into the pack, here's a Venom. And I don't think he's going to make it too long. I was kind of hoping he'd get a little distracted by the TU-4, and he did. But thankfully the TU-4 was not distracted either, and he is deleted just like that. I don't think he had a lot of speed to be making that approach. But, yeah. Okay, anyways, moving on. Here's an LA-15. This poor guy's probably still climbing right now. He probably doesn't have any speed built up. He definitely doesn't have my top speed, but it's not that much different than the average 9.0, so we won't talk about top speed being the broken part of this. Manages to dodge my shot. I just ignore him and I keep moving. See the Meteor behind me? Meteor's nowhere near my top speed, so he's not a threat. The A5 is nowhere near my top speed. He is not a threat either, so I'm just going to continue on. So after that pass, we're going to go up into a big, tall Engelmann, and you'll see how quickly this plane climbs. Remember, guys, this match pretty much just started, so anybody that's up this altitude, they don't have any speed yet. But now I'm up at 5,000 meters, no problems coming out of that Engelmann, and drop back down. Look off to my left, I see this poor F2H with one of my teammates, and they're both kind of struggling, so I'm like, alright, let's see what happens here. So, that's what I was talking about. You'll never see supersonic in a dive. I've never seen the red line in this aircraft. I'm taking it straight down right now on this approach. Most aircraft, I would have probably gone right into the ground right there. This thing actually pulls out of a dive pretty well. But here's where it's really broken, guys. So I just killed a TU-4 at the beginning of the match. I dove straight down and killed a guy on the deck. Now see this IL-28 up here? He's not out of reach at all. I'm going to go straight up into this IL-28 from the deck. Guys, I'm not losing speed. This is what I'm talking about with the supersonic power and the acceleration. This thing is an afterburner aircraft. So, with this match in mind, this aircraft should definitely be a 9.3, which that is only to get it away from the 8.0s. Honestly, I think the BR system probably needs to be a little bit better restructured, because things like the Venom shouldn't be 9.0 because it has to fight 10.0s, and it can't even fight it. You know, it may have a top speed that might be close to a supersonic, but it certainly cannot fight at those speeds. You know, average fight speed for a Venom is probably around 600 kilometers an hour. Compare that to a supersonic, it can't do anything. But enough of that, I'm not going to rant on that too much. But you see how I just went from the deck up to the deck and then straight back up again. There is no 8.0 aircraft that can do that. LA-200 might come close, but not really. So, LA-15 is now gone. Not much you could do. A5's coming in behind me, and he rips, and that's the end of that game. Very, very, very quick game. I just got 4 kills. Yeah, I know I got a couple bombers, okay. But that's too easy, guys. And not saying that I'm siding with bomber pilots, but it's really not fair for the bomber pilots whatsoever. Alright, so while I got you guys here, I want to show you something. So this plane has slats on it, right? This is similar to the F-40, similar to the A5. Both have slats. Now, they deploy at a certain speed. I want you to see, because I've slowed this down, they deploy at 885 on this aircraft. Now, that's good to know because you need to start being careful when you hit 885. But this aircraft can still pull a sustained turn at that speed. Now, I don't really want to push it too hard, but you really need to be careful when you start rolling left and right like this. When you're in that slat zone, this is what happens. Boom. Now, honestly, I think the other wing should rip. Adam514 and I, we just had a discussion over this. He believes the other wing should rip as well, so I'm glad it wasn't just me losing my mind. But you guys really need to be careful, because that is the only way you're going to rip this aircraft, honestly, is if you start pulling hard elevator turns and then kicking the ailerons in at the same time. So ailerons or elevator, not both at the same time when you're in that speed range. Got it? Clear as mud? Alright guys. So, in closing, you guys make up your mind if you want this aircraft or not. I'm going to tell you right now, most of you are probably not going to enjoy this aircraft because it just does not turn. Honestly, even myself right now, I can't decide if I like this plane that much. I do enjoy that it has really good energy retention. I'll tell you what, it's nice to actually be able to somewhat compete with the supersonics. But when you can't outturn much, it kind of changes things a little bit. So, anyways, I'm gonna leave you guys with some more footage as I always do. This is a 6-kill match, which almost was a 7-kill match. Here I'm chasing the guy in the clouds. He has no idea I'm behind him, and we get him. Anyways, that's the first of 6 kills in this match, and like I say, I almost had 7. You'll see it get snaked out from under me. But I'll leave you with this one. Not going to give you any more commentary. Just to recap, F-86K, this thing has a great climb rate. It has a great energy retention. It has a low top end speed of 1110, which is not faster than any other 9.0. Pretty much on par with Hunters and F-Sabres, so same top speed we're used to. It compresses quite hard. It doesn't have a very good turn rate at all. In fact, a lot of aircraft will outturn you, but it does make up for it with the roll rate. So the roll rate actually translates into really good defensive flying. So you guys be the judge. You want to fly this thing. It's not that bad of a plane though. It is a lot better than we typically see coming from the French tree, which this is honestly an American aircraft, so what does it matter? Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Leave me a sub if you haven't already. Leave me a like. Again guys, every little bit of support you guys give me goes a long ways, and I really, really appreciate it. Alright guys, happy flying. We'll see you around.
The enemy is